Good morning, beautiful YouTube family. It's Lisa A. Romano, the Breakthrough Life Coach. And it's about 4 o'clock in the morning here in my neck of the dark woods. And it is an absolute beautiful autumn day. And I'm whispering because, of course, my house is sleeping. I got a question yesterday from a YouTuber asking me about how I center myself in the morning. What do I do to ground myself every morning? Exactly. And so today I was very observing because I wanted to do a video like this to help inspire those of you who are trying to stay more grounded and stay more self-aware so that you can be more self-observing, right? The only way to really stay on an enlightened path is to learn how to be self-observing. And so I've been very self-observing for the purpose of creating this video for those of you who care what the hell I do at 4 o'clock in the morning, if anybody really cares. And one of the things that I noticed that I do right away is I get up really early, obviously, and I look at the clock, and if it's between the hours of 3:30 and 4:30, I'll usually get out of bed because those are the hours that I know that I will have completely to myself. I can be with myself. I can connect to the planets, well, the universe right now. The sky is completely black, and the stars are just absolutely amazing. So it's a really good time for me to come out and just look up at this guy and say, just thank you. I'm so glad that I'm alive and I matter. I matter because I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. If I wasn't supposed to be here, I wouldn't be here. So it's kind of cool to look up at the stars and to, count the stars that are in the sky and realize that they're supposed to be here because they're here, and then feel the same way about myself. So that's one of the first thoughts that I have is getting up early so I can be by myself, so I can milk some appreciation, and really get connected to the stars in the sky and the planet. um, Another thought that I had while I was out here a little bit ago was I realized that for those of you who are trying to be more awakened and rise above your subconscious programming, as I have deemed codependency and the reactive mind, what we have to do is rise above the ego. So the ego is the reactive mind. The ego is responding to all the subconscious programming, all our subconscious triggers. So standing out here on my porch this morning, I deliberately noticed that my mind went to the place, rise above the ego. Keep rising above the ego. Just rise above the ego, rise above the ego. So the ego is what grounds us to our body and memories that are stored in our bodies and pain, visceral pain that's stored in our bodies. And when we're unaware, when our state of mind is unaware in any moment, we can get triggered and we can react. So the physical body, when it is being observed, well, actually, when it is enmeshed with the unconscious mind or the reactive mind or the ego, we suffer. When we deliberately and consciously rise above, my husband might be up, not yet. Well, when we think I'm a little nuts myself at 4 o'clock in the morning making YouTube videos, but whatever, this is my life experience. This works for me, and so many of you like it. Whatever, I digress. So anyway, um, when the mind chooses to deliberately rise above the ego, what will happen is you begin to understand that you're not just your body, and that the ego's reaction is just an experience, and it's part of what I think is the linear brain. The ego and the brain, when work in tandem, when we're unconscious, and when we're unconscious, we are constantly reacting. So the body has a physical reaction to an emotional trigger that's been stored in the subconscious mind, and the ego says, oh, no, 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 you're not going to hurt me, and lashes out in most cases. In a lot of cases, not everybody lashes out. Sometimes people become very introverted and actually go into themselves when they've been wounded. But standing out here today on my deck, what I realized was my thoughts went to, how can I continue to rise higher and stay in a high vibration? And the thought that came to me was, stay out of the ego. to stay out of the ego and connect to all that is. So I closed my eyes and I just remembered that I am more than my body and I am more than my brain. I am more than this physical experience. I am everything and everything is me. When I look at a star, there I am. And when a star looks at me, there it is. We are made of stardust. And then in that moment, I'm I'm high, I'm drunk on higher thought. And yes, I have to come back down to earth and deal with simple things, things of the material world. But reminding myself all day, every day, creating a mantra. Yesterday, my mantra was, "I am the life. I'm the resurrection, and I am the life." You know, um, I believe that our journey here as human beings is to die to the ego and to be born again of a higher mind. Or some people call it the Christ consciousness. Call it the Buddha consciousness, call it, non-duality consciousness, call it just higher consciousness, call it awakening, call it enlightenment, whatever. Call it whatever the hell you want that makes you feel better about how you're thinking. If you're rising above the ego, then you're not thinking with lower forms of thought, which is really the way to be happy. The way to be happy is to learn how to understand that yes, you have this physical body, and yes, you have physical experiences, and yes, triggers are stored in the subconscious mind, absolutely, but they're just triggers. And yes, the ego and the pain versus pleasure reflex will want to defend you against these subconscious triggers because they represent fear. But within all of us is this magic divine ability to get very, very still inside ourselves and to practice higher forms of thought. And I really hope that this YouTube channel and my work and my books and my coaching program, for those of you who choose to come along, my next class starts January 12th, 2017, by the way. My current class, we're in like week 9 or week 10. It's really exciting. But anyway, I digress. Not really. But anyway, I really hope that the work that I do inspires you to learn how to think a higher mind, to learn how to confront the fears that are holding you back. Remember, if your subconscious mind has a fear about expressing your emotions, then the way there's some animal making some noise over there in the background. It's kind of freaking me out a little bit, dear ones. I got a gate and all, but I better hurry this up. But anyway, anyway, if there's a fear stored in the subconscious mind, let's say with talking about your feelings, then your brain is designed to suppress your ability, suppress you when you feel like expressing your feelings because it represents fear. So that is my YouTube video today. I hope it has inspired you. Let me know. Namaste, and I bow to the love and the light in you. Bye-bye.